What's up, besties? I hope you're having a much better day than the one I'm about to describe. So when I was setting up this channel, one type of videos that I wanted to make was storytime videos, because I always just liked hearing people's stories and experiences, and I felt like I want to share. But after I made the Toxic Quiet video, which I recommend if you want to watch, later on I've been seeing some more content by like music school students, and I feel like there's lots of the same climate shared, aside from the like physical violence and the absolute like obsession over control these people exhibited. As a bit of an update, I can say that the organization isn't doing very well, and they've never had as few kids attending as they have right now. And also, from what I've been told, the directors went on a bit of an anti-mask, and I think also like an anti-vax thing, and both got COVID, and they're alive, but they haven't really like came back to their full strength, which makes sense because they're literally like old farts and part of the most vulnerable group. I'm not saying they deserved it, but also I won't pretend to pity them over that. Anyway, after I made that video, I felt like I don't have much else to say. That wouldn't be too much of an oversharing, because most things that I could think of, it's like decent storytime video ideas, were related in some way to our treatment in that choir. And I won't just like make shit up. Who would ever do that?
That he fucked me with a toothbrush. He fucked me with a toothbrush.
Anyway, I remember the thing that is not related to the choir, although it did happen in the time period when I went there, because I went there for almost a decade, and these were some of my most formative years. I was either 8 or 9 at that moment, and so were the other kids involved. It was the holidays, either before I went to the 2nd or the 3rd grade, which I know because earlier I didn't know one of the kids involved, and later our friendship fell apart in a very epic style. If I was like 15, I could probably make a story time out of that, because it was like a huge drama. But I'm 22, and I won't be dragging like 10 or 11-year-olds through the mud, no matter how terrible of friends they were. I'm sure we all have grown to be better than we were at that point. Important things to this age are that kids this age are incredibly fucking dumb. I have one at home, and I love her, but she's a child, and she's very bright for her age, like mathematically, for example. But obviously she doesn't have as much life experience as we do, and yeah, she's just dumb in this regard. B, they're tiny and easy to hurt, like a teenager would be capable of some sort of fighting, but I could legit just pick my sister up and throw her if I wanted to, and I'm not even that strong. I myself have been picked up and thrown before. And C, that was a long time ago, so I might misremember some things, especially like details. And I don't really have a way of fact-checking myself, so if I say something dumb and impossible, I'm not lying. I just remember things wrong. Anyway, let's make up names for all the friends, because I'm not sharing real ones. One friend shall be named Alisa. I was friends with Alisa for as long as I could remember, and our moms were friends too. And this has happened when we were playing near her flat, when her older sister was taking care of us. And one I'll name Jessica. Jessica was newer to the friend group. We met her when we went to the primary school, and we became a trio, which was one of the issues of our relationship, I guess. At that point in time, we were still all good. Everything felt very equal. Like I don't think we held any grudges against each other. after this has happened. Now, I don't remember what we were doing exactly. However, we were outside of Alice's block of flats and playing, and her older sister, who was taking care of us, was inside. She could see us if she looked out the window, but she didn't just sit and watch us constantly. We were just made aware that she's there, and if we need anything, we can go to her. I don't really think it was anything unusual, because I've told this story to someone before and they went, "Whoa, someone really should have been there with you. It's not safe to just leave kids outside." But like, I won't say this is how it should be. This just was the norm. Like, kids were running around freely with no supervision. I think the community just felt safer. I don't know to what degree the adults of that time would agree, since when we're adults we're just generally more careful, but I don't think anyone actually went missing or there was anything that could make them worry at that time. Of course, we were taught still not to be too trusting of strangers, or at least I was. I don't know about other kids, but you know the general, "Oh, don't talk to strangers, if someone you don't know offers you to take you somewhere, don't go, don't take any food or drinks from a stranger. If you're home alone, lock yourself from the inside and don't open unless it's me or a close family member, and if someone claims to be a family member or a friend but you don't recognize them, don't open anyway. Don't go into any strange vehicles." Especially that in my quite rural community, the old Black Volga urban legends was still alive. And you know, all of these are good advice I would still give to children, because while the stranger danger is an overtalked phenomenon, most of the time it's someone who the child knows who ends up hurting them. I think in this case it's just better safe than sorry. Anyway, we were playing. There's just some grass in between the blocks of flat with like a play park adjacent thing. We're probably like just running around because at one point there's just me and Alyssa talking and Jessica was doing something separately. And this older woman comes up to us. At least I remember her as being older. She could have been like 45, I don't know. I was a child and she was old to me. And she was like, "Hi, how are you?" And the thing is, I was a very shy kid, still kind of. I'm not a kid, but these feelings I had when meeting someone new are still there. I just learned how to act to not make the situation worse for myself. Alisa, however, was the opposite of me, and she was always very outgoing and extroverted and brave, and didn't have a problem with talking to people, so she said that we were doing good. And so the woman had focused on having the conversation like with her and said like, "What's your name?" And I was very scared at that point, but Alisa just answered. And the woman went, "Oh, that's great, you must be..." And here she gave us some super popular name. I don't remember what it was, so let's say Emily. "You must be Emily's friend. I'm her grandma," except none of us actually knew Emily, and Alisa told her that maybe she had mistaken her for someone. Also, I named her Alisa, but in real life her name isn't super common. I only know one more person with this name. But the lady went, "Oh, maybe she didn't tell you her name or you forgot, but I definitely saw you playing at the swimming pool." And then Jessica joined in, and the woman got really weird at that point because she managed to convince Alisa and Jessica that there's this Emily, and she's a few flats away, and we are not allowed to go anywhere that wouldn't be visible from the window, obviously. And Jessica told her that, but she was like, "Yeah, let's make an exception. It's not that big of a deal. Emily will be very happy if we came to her to play, and they have candy there." And and this is like the biggest red flag for me, like the candy, because obviously I was taught not to take food from strangers, and there's this lady offering us candy. I was willing to believe that there is like some Emily because my friends always have more friends than me, so yeah, maybe they did knew some Emily. Although I would have preferred her to come to us. It was definitely not a rule breaker, and we were told to stay near the flat, so no stranger could convince me to just go anywhere. So I just snuck out since the woman was so focused on Alyssa and Jessica, and I went up to Alyssa's flat and to Alyssa's sister and told her what's going on, and she just told me to stay in place, and she ran downstairs. I was looking through the window as she told Alyssa and Jessica to get there and hid together in her room when her sister was just... and his sister just screamed at this woman and called the police, and then the woman actually got arrested. I'm not sure on what exact legal basis, but they did take her away. I have no idea what they could pin on her, but they did find something apparently. There were some rumors later on about who could that woman be and what she was attempting to do. I was convinced that she was trying to kidnap us, so that's what I'm going to put in the title. But I don't know anything, honestly. She could have wanted to hurt us just there on place and then release. Hell, maybe Emily was real and for some reason couldn't come to us, and we should have gone there to her. I don't think my parents were involved in anything legally, or that anyone was informed about what the woman was doing and where she is now. Especially that it would be probably very hard to find some legal proof if she hasn't done anything. But before, talking to children, technically speaking, isn't illegal. I mean, now she's either free or dead. It was 14 years ago. But were there any legal consequences to what she did back then? I don't know. Nobody told me, and I'm not asking because I don't really talk to most of the people involved anymore. I think it's interesting how media stories and this one occurrence have often exaggerated the risk of stranger danger to me. When I found out the greatest risk comes from members of the child's family, I was already almost an adult. According to the US Department of Justice, most missing children are runaways, and 99% of abducted children are taken by relatives, typically a non-custodial father. I'm sure in school we were told that if anyone touches us in bad ways, we should tell someone trusted, regardless if this is family. But I'm not sure if I really believed that it's possible for someone close to me to be just evil. I was lucky to have a good family in this regard. This attitude is just widely criticized for being harmful because instead of focusing on most victims and, most of the crimes, we just look at the rare, sensational cases. And I guess it's very hard for a lot of people to just believe that a parent would purposefully harm their child, or that, parents can be wrong because, we live in the type of society where kids are treated as kind of property, right? Technically speaking, it's not legal in Poland anymore to hit your children. But in many places it is, and there are even places where they would hit children at school as a punishment. And it's but parents have to agree. Yeah, if parents are abusive, they're going to agree to abusive stuff happening to their children at school. That doesn't make it right. We have science. We have years of different studies to show this is harmful, but we still believe that any threat would happen from the outside, and we are trying to just find some random stranger that will definitely hurt our children, and in reality it's usually not strangers doing that. But yeah, I think that's all from me for now. I hope at least something that I've said was in any way interesting to you. If you have any other thoughts or maybe some similar experiences or different ones, you just want to say how your day is going, I would love it if you left a comment in the comment section down below. And for now, just stay safe, stay hydrated, and peace.